Welcome back to the ASUS ROG DreamLeague live here from the DreamHack Monster Energy Studios, where we get ready for our second series of the night. For the second time, we're going to see 4 Clovers and a Leprechaun. This time, they're going to go up against ninjas in pajamas. Guys, what do we think here?
First of all, it's the funniest thing ever when you try and look over the monitor to the camera. Like when it's coming in, you just kind of like try and peek over it to
I
see
can see it. I'm taller. I can actually see it.
No, but you do kind of look
I do?
over. Yeah.
I didn't know.
All right. I've been kind of watching a lot of Ninjas in Pajamas VODs. And it basically seems that it's a lot down to Limp. When he plays mid, if he gets good support rotations and he gets a good game, they do amazingly. Era always does well. Like, they focus on Era a lot. But if Limp has a bad game, it's not good.
Yeah, they almost always play that 4 protect 1 type strategy. It seems no matter what team Era's on, there's something resembling a 4 protect 1. But he is consistently one of the highest KDA carries in the competitive scene. If you look at like isolated tournament statistics, he's always at the top in terms of how many kills he's able to put up and how many deaths he's able to avoid. He's been on fire recently.
Even last DreamLeague, he was the highest KDA.
Yeah.
And talking about statistics, let's see what statistics Lumi has got for the preliminary.
Illuminati.
No, preliminary. Preliminary.
It says it on the sheet.
Yeah, preliminary analysis.
Wow.
There's your bumper.
Is that on bumper?
There's no bumper.
there's
There's no bumper for this
Yeah,
one.
but that was it. Like,
Yeah, okay. All right, so NiP, obviously the second Swedish team in the tournament.
why are they not the
Alliance.
first Swedish team?
I mean, because Alliance won a TI.
Okay.
I'll allow it.
Yeah. All right.
And you could also say because Alliance won yesterday, you know, they exerted dominance. It's like
is true.
there's this system like
They're like
whoever
wolves.
wins the last
The number
game,
1 Swedish team to the number 2 Swedish team.
whoever wins the last game is the one that's king, right?
All right. So you guys kind of touch upon NiP's playstyle. Era's a drafter, and he drafts around himself.
Yep.
He plays literally every carry possible. I'm talking about the standard one, like Anti-Mage, PL, Gyrocopter has been the most popular carries of the last patch. But then he also plays Ember, pretty common. He plays Storm, pretty common. Huskar, like Lifestealer, PA, like he plays literally everything. And the rest of the team is essentially built around him.
Yeah.
The way that they like to win the most is more of a drawn-out 40-minute game where there's a lot of heroes moving about. So like to pick very mobile mids and very mobile carry. So Anti-Mage, Storm kind of comes in mind for Era himself. And then like Limp, the other very important hero or player that you said is like Lina, Queen of Pain, things like that. And they also pick a very mobile carry in the form of Keeper of the Light, one of the few teams that actually do pick him anymore. And they use it very offensively. You know, they have Seal Kid walk into the enemy jungle, start recalling somebody, they take a fight there. Era generally comes in for these fights. He wins the fight, TP back to the safe lane, and keeps on farming. So they have a very, like you said, a very old school 4 protect 1 playstyle. But this one, he comes to fight. That's kind of the difference.
Yeah.
So now, if you're looking at that playstyle compared to what 4C&L likes to do, which is fight, you know, every goddamn minute, past minute 10, I think NiP is going to have a little bit of trouble because they like to play the game a little bit drawn out. For example, Keeper of Light, this hero, sure, he could fight once in a while with recall, but all he wants to do is farm an Aghanim. So I think NiP is a little bit more farm-driven in this matchup, whereas 4C&L is a lot more fight-driven. So I think this is a very good dynamics of, is 4C&L going to dictate the farm, or is NiP going to dictate the space that they create by pushing and...
Which do you think has the upper hand here, Zeori? Which style?
I think Lumi hit the nail on the head with NiP really tends to thrive towards the late game and once they get closer to the mid game. It seems like a pretty recurring theme where they don't do so hot in the lanes or they draft relatively weak lanes. They turtle up, try to mitigate their losses, and then once that carry starts to come online, they really shine. Usually around the time Era gets his Sanjin Yasha. That's an item that I know he absolutely loves. I asked him about it at Star Ladder 12, and he said, dude, what's not to like about Sanjin Yasha? It gives you everything. Yep. It's good on every hero. He was adamant about Sanjin Yasha being so good, and I'm not surprised he still picks it up on every hero that he plays.
I think it has a lot to do with Jonathan fan as well. What hero he gets. Like, we saw him play Axe a good few times, and when he gets Axe, he's amazing in that offlane Axe role. He gets his Blink Dagger like super early, and then creates the space needed for Limp and Era to kind of do his thing. Like, but they need supports to back it up. Like, I honestly don't think against an aggressive team like 4C&L that Keeper of the Light is the go-to hero because of, like, if you have any sort of rundown hero like Night Stalker, Queen of Pain, and like that, Keeper of the Light is pretty
Well, it depends, right? If Keeper Light is out of position, he is very, very squishy. But if you see them running at you from max distance, Illuminate, Mana Leak, Blinding Light, they're all great.
But that's like, it's pretty hard to get to that stage. Like we saw yesterday, I think Alliance played Night Stalker with Darkseer.
Yes, they played a mid Night Stalker.
Yeah, and it destroyed them. Like, just completely tore them apart because they need their space, like, because of the way they play.
They need time.
Exactly.
And like you said, I think Limp, as well as Johannes fan, is a bit hot and cold. Sometimes, you know, you have a game where the Axe, I think there was a Limp Lina that was beyond godlike, double rampages, like he was just tearing through everything. But then you have games where he sometimes gets killed once or twice mid from a gank rotation. So I think it depends if Jonas, as well as Limp, is showing up to play. Era and the two supports are generally very solid, very stable.
They used to love to do this funky strategy where they would put Ogre with Lina, and they would have the machine gun Lina, give her Bloodlust, and then have her throw fireballs left and right.
Well, it's good this patch.
Yeah, it's good now that Ogre was buffed. It was a little bit gimmicky, but there were a few times it caught teams off guard, and we'll see if 4CL have done their homework. I also think Dazzle is going to be another big hero in this series. We saw him in both games in the last series. He won both games. Partially because it's a deny pick for 4CL. It's a hero in their comfort zone. But I think that kind of support, again, as we talked about during the last break, where he has the constant ability to reset the fight, that's something he brings to the table, or someone like a Coddle just doesn't in that early laning stage.
I really want to see a Gyrocopter. I want to see Era on Gyrocopter.
You didn't get enough Gyrocopter last patch?
No. Say, I think we've seen him enough.
Of all the people that plays Gyrocopter, I think Era is one of the best. Like, because of how he likes to rotate the fights early and how the team kind of plays, usually it kind of changes it up a bit. You know what I mean? It gives him this extra bit of tempo to go into the like early mid game kind of thing.
It does fit his play style for sure.
I mean, if you think about 4CL, all they want to do is run at you and fight. A good placed call down, it's what's going to take the game.
Exactly, yeah.
So the problem is that call down did get nerfed. Once you get a BKB, spell does absolutely nothing.
But you get that first Clovers, they fight early on. And you don't have BKB then yet.
Yeah,
well, we did see the last game, though. They fought early on, and as the game's dragged out, these normally very strong early game hero like Silencer kind of taper off. You were asking, hey, what did a Silencer do? What did a Slaughter do? Early on, they were wrecking, right?
Yeah.
And then as the game went longer and longer,
they fell off.
Yeah, so I think Gyro, he's not a bad late game hero by any means, but I'm just saying call down is now weaker against BKB. So there's that.
Fair enough. So if you have to call it, it's 2-game series, so you can be on the fence if you really want to, but I prefer it if you would say who you think is going to win this series.
I'll go first this time. NiP 2-0.
Without hesitation, just like that.
I think they've got it.
Okay.
Is being 1-1 on the fence, or?
It's slightly, but if you really think...
I really think it's 1-1. They're pretty even.
Good motivation for it?
What?
Good motivation, good argument.
Well, NiP lost like the last 3 games out of 5.
Yeah.
Against Alliance and 5 Youngs. 5 Youngs.
Youngs.
5 Youngs.
Yeah.
5 Youngs.
5 Youngs.
It's German.
That sounds really good.
5 Youngs. Like German, I think.
So they're coming off a losing streak, and I think 4CL is pretty hot. 1-1.
Fair enough, yeah.
Okay, so what I saw of 4 Clovers and Leprechaun, they actually like they fight early and they fight hard, and I honestly think. Now I was wrong in the last series as well, but I think they're gonna win this one too.
We should maybe keep score or something, because right now both Stewart and Lumi 100% win rate.
Yeah, I'm on 0.
Yes, me too. Don't worry.
Wait, are you just calling 2-0 because they have a Leprechaun on it too?
Yeah, last season I was backing them the whole way as well.
Do we know who the Leprechaun is, by the way?
Bambo.
It is Bambo. 100%?
Is he the Leprechaun?
But
because of his height or what?
I guess.
Are we sure?
Yeah, well, he was the only one.
He's like 4 feet 8, right, or something like that.
I have no idea.
I only know Freedom Unit Shiver. I can't do
Freedom Unit.
this metric system.
That's legit. You get a pound on the Freedom Unit.
I don't know.
Yeah, okay.
I really
So
don't know.
I think that is going to
150?
be 1-1. And I have a reasoning for this as well. Because whoever is going to win the first game is going to get figured out. And then the next game, the team that's fighting against them knows exactly how to deal with that strategy and knows how to beat them.
Now, there's another hero I want to ask about, and that is Bat Rider. He got a couple of funky buffs in this patch. The Ags upgrade is the main one with the double lasso now. But that is a hero that Jonas and Fawn has gone to a bit in the past. Even when Bat Rider was not at his peak in popularity, NiP was still a team that would run him to at least mixed results. I wouldn't say it was insanely good, but it certainly wasn't bad. Possibility this series?
I think it's actually really good for NiP, simply because the style they play, right? They play 4 Protect 1. You need that hero to get picks. I actually think the bigger buff is the increased damage of Flame Break.
Yeah, with the stacks. Yeah.
Right. The problem is, I think Bat Rider does very well against very squishy supports. Your Rubik, your Dazzle, your Crystal Maiden, Kato. But a lot of supports that you pick nowadays are Tuskar, Spirit Breaker, these...
Ogre.
Sturdy supports.
Very tanky support, and you do like damage over time. They're like, I'll kill you first. I might die, whatever.
Ogre does not care about anything.
I think the problem with Bat Rider is, like, where do you lane him? Like, you have to put him in the off lane.
And so, yeah.
S4 ran at mid.
Yeah.
But that's F4. S4.
Yeah. You can run him mid, yeah. But if you put in the off lane and he doesn't have a great start, the jungling is pretty slow.
I mean, Jonas is very used to not having great starts, especially when he plays LC, right? Like, that hero just have a very tough time. So maybe he could do it. He's very comfortable on the hero, I think.
Yeah, I think jungling Bat Rider is okay if you can get to like level 3 or so.
Yeah, exactly.
But if it's so bad that you're like level 1 trying to go to the jungle, that's when it's a total disaster. It's so unbelievably slow.
Yeah, it's too slow to have an impact in the mid game or mid to early game, which is where people start fighting nowadays. By the way, quick update. We are waiting for the last player of NiP to join the lobby before we start the game because we want to have all 5 players in there.
It's pretty handy.
Pretty handy indeed. I'm actually really curious. You're going to be 4 Clovers and a Leprechaun. You're coming off a high because you just won. Which are you going to focus on late? Because you know the play style of Ninjas in Pajamas.
Yeah.
How are you going to bait them into fighting all the time?
I think you can actually set up in a draft because they really love their anti-mage. They like really do.
Yeah, they do. Eridus.
And if you like set up in a draft so you counter anti-mage later, I think you start off with like an intel hero like Lishrak, and then you play it as a support or something like that. I think it could work really well against them.
And are you then going to try to pressure the anti-mage, or are you just going to let them do whatever and fight?
What Alliance did actually was they just destroyed everyone else and then worried about anti-mage later, and it worked so well. Like the supports were so under-leveled, so under-farmed that they got walked over, and then Ira tried his best, but there was nothing they could do.
I know I've been talking a lot about supports that have reset tools, but I think Naga fits into what I'm talking about and what you're talking about. Because you can first pick Naga, and okay, if we're comfortable, we can put her in a farming core role. If we don't like the way it looks, then throw her in a position 4, and she can do quite a bit as a support.
Okay, I have to correct something, because sorry, NiP, you were ready to go. 4 Clovers wasn't ready to go. So there.
Damn.
I don't want to name and shame and then be wrong, you know.
True, yeah.
So hereby I named and shamed the right team and restored the previous name and shame that wasn't right.
Well done, Shiver.
Thank you.
Nice recovery.
I'm still confused as to who was wrong.
It's fine, because it doesn't matter at all at this point.
Yep.
Because at this point, both teams are ready. Better yet, both teams are already in the draft. So it is time to go to Owen and Andy for the first game of 4 Clovers and a Leprechaun taking on Ninjas in Pajamas.